Good morning and hello, viewers. This is Vibhuti Jha from Jaipur Dialogue, USA. And today I wanted to greet you on a very important topic that is about democracy in chaos. It is important for all of us because both my former country, India, and the United States, both are going to face elections in 2024. India shortly, and United States in November. But as we see the scene on the ground here, there is tremendous amount of chaos. It almost seems like that democracy, which is often referred to as the worst kind of government, worst kind of system, but the best still available. What is happening about that? It is indeed a great system. Who cannot say that freedom is not wanted? Everybody loves their freedoms. But at the moment, it seems that is freedom for everybody who breaks the laws, but not no protection of law for the law-abiding citizen. And there is a very critical element here. There are certain things that have creeped in the system, the process, and that is cancel anybody who you don't agree with. This is particularly the leftist, Islamist, and elitist agenda that we are seeing rampant in our political and social life. Look at a very interesting scenario that is happening in the United States. Abuse of freedom, which is causing chaos in societies. Two classic examples. The way the southern border in the United States has been ripped apart, and people are walking in with the help of coyotes and drug dealers, is visible to everybody. It's not a secret, it's not hidden. But look at what is the impact of that, why it is being done. Nobody is talking about it. President Biden, unfortunately, is asking for money so that he can have more people processing the people who are coming in, but doing nothing to stop the inflow. That's the tragedy. Do nothing to stop the disease, but ask for funding to how to research how to stop them. Not fair. Not fair on people who are suffering the brunt of these people coming in. In this process, all those people who used to talk about the sanctuary city and sanctuary state in glowing terms are right now feeling the burden. And they are blaming Governor Abbott of Texas for plotting to disrupt the immigrants' life by siphoning them off to sanctuary cities and sanctuary states who were all there to welcome them. Now they can't manage that. There is a bigger impact of that. Only recently, Vivek Ramaswamy opined, and that the southern borders have led to coming in of many people who are identified as terrorists in the US terror list. Many are a new category called gotaways. Nobody knows how many have got away. The issue is very simple. There was a time when the United States people used to see that we are insulated from attacks from overseas because of the oceans on the side and a reliable partner of Canada and Mexico on the north and south. Now we are seeing borders broken both north and south and unwanted elements coming in. The classic example was Hamas scenario in Israel. Just remember one thing. Congress Lady Tlaib was the only one who did not vote in favor of the resolution that condemned the rape and murder of innocent children and women in Israel on October 7th. Think about it. That's the US Congress lady. This is the tragedy of democracy right now because the element of you are not guilty until proven is being abused by those very people who rely on the compassion of society and the loopholes in the system of laws. So you are not guilty until proven. But look at the scenario. Mr. Trump is being blamed for, some of the states took him off the ballot. Supreme Court opined on that. The verdict is still awaited, but Supreme Court did opine that he was not charged, not convicted. Was he given a fair trial? So you are looking at a dual system operating. It's right in front of our eyes. It's not my political opinion. For example, Muhammad Qasem was amongst the 10 people who caused the mayhem and damage in Delhi, in Bombay in 2611. as many years ago. Kasab took 3 years to try and convict and prove that Kasab was guilty. Remember, it was after seeing him on video killing people with AK-47. That's the lacuna. That's the loophole in democracy, that you are not proven guilty. And you are not guilty until you are proven so. Look at farmers' agitation in India. I mean, it is no longer a secret. Whatever those people are, if they are farmers, their opinion is coming out in public. They are saying, they are demanding atrocious, they're making atrocious demands which cannot be fulfilled. But Rahul Gandhi says he will implement those. He doesn't even know the math. Not only that, these people are hell bent on disrupting the democratic process in India just before elections. Think about it. Their rights. They talk about rights, but nobody talks about the responsibility. Why must a common man suffer the torture caused by these agitating people? They have openly said death to Modi. They're talking about what did not happen. Modi escaped in Punjab last time, but we will not let him do that again. Remember that. It's very, very important. There was once elderly Sikh gentleman whose video is on the Twitter space. You can see that, in which he said, Modi has gained popularity following the establishment of Ram Temple. We have to bring him down. This is democracy or total chaos? Is democracy supposed to become a total chaos for ordinary people like you and I? And as Vivek Ramaswamy said, and this is something which I said in my show a couple of weeks ago, that today United States is very vulnerable from attacks from within. And that is something that cannot be ignored. It's very, very important. The other part, which is very, again, significant. The other day I read news reports that Dubai was being called upon by many Americans as a good place to live in. You know the reason why? Because there is a discipline. There is a rule of law that people have to follow. And if they don't, they suffer consequences of that. Compare that with Singapore. Singapore also has it's a very significant rule of law. There is a civil society, and you cannot break the law just as you want it. For example, many years ago, an American youth was vandalizing or doing spray painting or drawing, images on the wall. He was convicted. He served the term according to Singapore law, even though United States protested about his freedoms. But the Singapore reply was very simple. These are our laws. Your laws are welcome in your place. And that's what is important. The people are now looking at, okay, stability, discipline. Because even in the US, freeways have a speed limit. If you cross the limit, you pay the consequences in a fine. But doesn't mean that everybody is breaking the law. That is important. What is happening in India and the United States, that in the name of freedom, we are being systematically abused. Is a very famous statement that criminals and thugs take advantage of the rule of law and the compassion of the society. Should the society allow that to happen? Who is going to hold that entire thing to accountability? Not happening. We are seeing in both countries, the politicians are hurting the process most in the name of democracy and freedoms. Look, I am an Indian. I am once upon a time an Indian citizen voted in India. Now I'm an American citizen voting here. And I see this, it's not my personal opinion, but the view of many people that somewhere along the line the political leadership is failing its people. That's very significant. The other part which I wanted to say, that in addition to Singapore and Dubai, recently Tucker Carlson was in Russia. He interviewed Putin to get information and know his side of the story. You can't come to a conclusion on a particular issue if you do not know both sides of the story. Tucker Carlson reported how the railway systems were working efficiently, how the grocery stores were full of food, and generally the life was quite okay. In the European Union almost considered to ban him. And there was very interesting. But for Elon Musk's X, which had a massive viewing, more than 150 million people watched that video. Compare that with Facebook. it has 0.1% people watching. They virtually did not show the item. Tucker Carlson interview. Where is the freedom? This is what is important for us to know. It is critically important for us to know that if you want to preserve something, you got to fight for it. You cannot allow lawlessness and chaos in the name of freedoms. There is a rule of law. There is a thing called discipline. Discipline works in army, in sports, in all corporate life. How can we not do that? With these words, I wanted to say that India and the United States are the two most prominent democracies of the world. I won't go into the talk of largest, oldest, biggest, and strongest, but these are the two most prominent democracies of the world. And it's time for press and media, people like you and I, and the public, to raise their voices against the unjust activities happening and the chaos created by everybody. At the moment, the political system has to bear the brunt and bear the responsibility of truth becoming a victim of freedom. I mean, there is enough number of examples for that. Even Donald Trump, I mean, recently, just yesterday, you had a trial in which, in Georgia, the district attorney who was going to prosecute him is falling flat because she lied under oath to the court about her relationship with the person she had appointed to prosecute Mr. Trump. The guy had no experience, no credible ability to prosecute such an important case. That is falling apart. Liberal media, conservative media, all belong to the same opinion that she lied. The case may fall. Likewise, you notice that Donald Trump is being charged on 91 different varieties. The narrative is what? Oh, he's charged under 91 categories. But nothing has been proven yet. There is one particular case which is very critical, in which he has claimed presidential immunity. The prosecutors, the Department of Justice in the US, is trying to expedite the case. The question is, the immunity, you work in an office, you have to have certain kind of an ability to withstand the decisions that you've taken. You can't be held guilty for decisions that you took in your official capacity. These are issues that are very, very important. And I want to say this again. In democracy, freedom is for everyone. Freedom cannot be abused, and it has to be protected for law-abiding citizens. Though nobody can break the law. You saw in New York City that people who hit and beat up the cops, they were released without bail. And what did those guys do? They showed their fingers. That is the unfortunate tragedy of American rule of law at this moment. It has to be reckoned that you cannot break the law and enter the country and then break further laws. And my thought process is very simple. Those people who break the law of the land to enter the country, why do you expect them to follow other rules of laws of this country? They broke it. We welcomed them. The administrations welcomed them. Now they are ready to break any single law. Not only that, it was tragedy that in New York State, in New York City, they are giving $58 million worth of prepaid credit cards for them to buy food. When you have a credit card, you can use it for anything you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I will stop this conversation today with the appeal to all the people, the politicians, the people who believe in democracy, to stand up and fight for it. If you don't fight for it, you lose it. That's what is happening. It is a choice between chaos and discipline. It is a choice between breaking the rule of law or protecting the rule of law. With these words, I always say, it's a very famous Sanskrit statement, Satyameva Jayate, which means truth must triumph, or truth will triumph, or truth has to triumph. But for truth to triumph, you got to stand up for it. Thank you very much. See you again. Namaste.